Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows from shows ranging from the 90s to today.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany,
And I'm Cynthia.
and today we're talking about Season 4, Episode 8, titled The Unusual Suspects, air date November 22nd, 2000, and the synopsis is, I almost forgot the word.
A sailboat owned by Cape Side's principal, Dave Peskin, and his
Oh,
dog,
see, there is a principal.
yeah, and his dog are found in the school pool as part of a senior prank. As a result, Mitch and Principal Peskin are after the person who did it, in which Dawson, Pacey, Jack, and Drue are suspects.
See, I didn't know there was a principal because I was sleeping. Oh my god, I am not ready to talk about this. This is such a horrible episode.
I thought it
My
was
opinion. You said it was boring.
not as boring as you think. I was interested on who did the prank, and then how they tied it together at the end was really clever, I think. Because I didn't even know what they were doing. I just thought Drue was just there.
Hmm. All right, I thought it was all stupid, but go ahead. You can say what you liked the beginning.
Well, I thought the beginning was a dream just because of the way it looked, and then a random boy that we never saw before yells at for everybody to go to the swimming pool. So they did,
Did
and
you know they had a swimming pool at Capeside?
nope. They never talk about a swim team or anything. Yeah, so they go to the pool. They see a sailboat floating and a dog also, and on the sailboat, sail what the sail, that said the class of 2001 written on it. So
The
obviously that was a
flag.
senior prank. Yeah, and Dawson said that, like, why didn't I think of this? And
Well, what I thought was funny was that the dog went up right to Jack.
yeah,
And
Chester.
then the principal said, the unknown principal said, Mr. McPhee, how do you know the dog?
Yeah, 'cause it's obvious that the dog didn't know Jack somehow. But I thought maybe, like, I don't know, the dog. I don't know. I just didn't think that he knew the dog the way that it was actually said.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Now, I have some questions,
hmm
as I usually do. Um, when did you know they did it?
Um,
When they got called?
no.
Okay, and wasn't it weird? For to the following students, whatever. Mr. McPhee, or no, did they say Jack McPhee, Dawson,
Yeah.
something,
It was full
Dawson,
names.
Leary, somebody, and then Pacey Witter. And I was like,
hmm
what? Wait, first of all, again, they're not going alphabetically because Leary would go before McPhee. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think it was just the people who they suspected. So
Well, why wouldn't they go alphabetical?
I don't know. I don't think it was necessary for them to do so.
Anyway, so when did you think that they did it?
Um, I don't know. Pretty almost the last minute.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, you thought that all their cover-ups were real?
Yeah.
Hmm. And then my other thing was,
hmm
how did they get the boat inside?
I don't know. That was my thing
That
too.
was a big boat. It wasn't a little sailboat.
Yeah, they couldn't bring it in pieces or anything like that. Like and we don't want to like know the pool room either. Like how they would have been able to get it in
That's what I'm
a
saying.
door that was wide enough.
This is it. How
Yeah.
did they get the boat in there? Come on
hmm
now. And also, um, it's a good thing that it wasn't nowadays because with security cameras and alarm systems, there's no way they would be doing any kind of break-ins
hmm
nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So, yeah, so clearly there was no cameras back in 2000.
hmm
And also, I still don't know how they got the boat in there.
Yeah.
That's one thing they left out was how they actually got the boat in there.
Yeah. But then, did it make sense to you that they called down the other two guys? Besides for the four main ones that we know?
I guess they just wanted us to believe somebody else did it.
I guess, yeah. It didn't make
Even
sense
though
to
they
me though.
brought all the guys down, like the core ones.
hmm
Well, you know what though? I don't want Jack ever to uh, testify for me. Didn't you see him?
Right, he was nervous.
He was nervous as heck.
hmm
I was like, please don't ever do anything because you're bad.
Yeah.
You would be telling the truth.
Yeah, and the principal's playing the bad cop and Mitch is playing the
Now,
good
that
cop.
was the thing.
Yeah.
Once again, Mitch is a part of the interrogations.
Well,
Last episode it was Jen.
hmm
Now it's the boys, and I can't. Is he? What is he?
well, he's still the counselor, but I think it made sense because Dawson was involved in this, and then
But you
he,
didn't have Mr. Witter.
I know, but he was already working in the school, so
That doesn't make any sense.
and he's a counselor, so and he knows the kids, so it makes sense for him to be there when they're talking to them.
No, it doesn't. If you get in trouble at school, your counselor is not in there. You know who is? The principal.
Do you really think that they're gonna talk to the principal that they don't even know? He just started there.
It was the principal's boat too.
I know, but they don't know him. He's like basically a
It doesn't
stranger.
matter. If a principal starts that day, they're gonna yell at you.
I know, but I think Mitch
Nope.
should
I
be
don't
there.
believe it. And in any instance, what happened like at our school is a lot of times like if you got in trouble, the vice principal would talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be something serious in order to go to the principal.
Yeah.
Which is why some things that happened with us, I took straight to the principal. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't take to the vice principal because I knew it would never get to the principal.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went over her head.
Yeah, but we like never got in trouble, so we didn't have to talk to them. So we don't know for sure. I feel like it depends on the situation, and the student too, if the counseling should be there or not.
Well, I'm just telling you that for me, I just went over the vice principal's head.
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, how in the world did I get the boat inside? And the
I
other thing
know.
is, okay, so they talk about how like Mitch tells Dawson, well, you have access to my keys. And my thing is, you didn't have a like it's just nowadays, even if a student had their parents who works at a school.
Um, yeah, so Jack went to Jen's house with flowers, so she thought that she was having a dream and he's straight all of a sudden giving her flowers, but no, they were for Graham. Because he's just sweet like that. And then he tells Jen, somehow he worked this out, that for her community service, she can help him coach the little kids soccer team since Andy's gone now. Though I don't know how much soccer Jen knows. And then she volunteers to cook breakfast for him, but he has to go to meet Drue at the hardware store. That was random for me. And then um, the guys were being interrogated by the principal and Mitch. And Pacey says that he was with Joey that morning, and then he went with Doug for a ride along because all of a sudden he wanted to go, but when before he didn't. And before they leave, Joey tells Doug to straighten Pacey out during the ride along, and of course Pacey had to make the joke that there's nothing straight about, there's nothing straight in Doug's vocabulary. He doesn't know the word straight. And then they leave, and then Mitch is talking to Dawson and mentions how Dawson wasn't even home in the morning of yesterday, but Dawson said that his mom drove him to Mr. Brooks, and that's when we know that Dawson misplaced Mitch's keys.
Well, yeah, so going with the keys.
Yeah.
Um, the thing is, like, even like, okay, if your mom worked at the school
Mm-hmm.
nowadays,
Yeah.
like even when we were in school, like if your mom had the keys and you took them, there's still alarm system, and there's still, I'm sure too, like you're only allowed in at like certain times, like your key may not work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And also too, like not everyone who works at the school gets access to every door.
Yeah. Master key. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't get, not everyone gets a master key.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that Mitch has the master key wouldn't make any sense because it's usually just like the principal. And that's it. And he's not the principal. So there's no way that he would have access to every
room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? Because when Mitch brings it up, I'm like, but why would you have access to every door? You wouldn't.
Right.
You would only have access to like your door. Because they'd have to, and I understand why they only let like one person. And that's because you would then have to trust everybody. you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big responsibility if like everybody has access. That's
Yeah.
not good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
so did you like when Pacey goes with Doug on a ride along? I just thought it was really out in the blue.
yeah, I brought that up before. Dawson the keys. Yeah, so I thought that was rather blue too, and even Joey pointed that out that he never went before. So
I was
like,
like, this is just really messed up. Like
yeah.
out of the blue, Pacey's gonna go on a ride along.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think he did it because it was his cover up. He could say I was with Doug the whole time.
Right. Yeah. Now I know why he went. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, it just is out of the blue. I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah. I mean, I knew he was up to something. I just didn't know it was had anything to do with a prank.
Now, can I bring up something Doug said?
Mm-hmm.
So when they're on the ride along,
Yeah.
um, Doug brings up, and I'm only going off of like what I barely remember because I only watched this last night when I was half asleep from watching this. So I don't really remember everything that happened, but I do remember something Doug was saying about how if only you were something about if only you were half as good as me or something as a police officer. I was like,
Yeah. That was at the end.
yeah. But my thought was about this when he said that. I was like, wait a minute, you're not a good police officer.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about? That didn't make any sense to me. I was like, Doug is not good at being a police officer. So I don't know what he's talking about. And if Pacey, let's be honest, if Pacey's, a little bit better than that, then he would, you know what I mean? Doug's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was funny when he says that. I was like, what? Give me, give me a time when you were actually good at being one. You let your teenage brother have the keys to your car.
Right.
And not your personal car, the cop car.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me how that is responsible and a good cop. It's not. But it's again, it's bad writing because they made him in this episode be a good cop, but previously he's not been,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So again, bad writing. Now, was it weird that Joey was barely in it?
No, because she didn't have anything to do with the prank. So
I know, it's just like about the boys.
what do you mean?
We barely saw anybody else besides the boys.
Yeah, because they were part of the prank. So that makes sense to me.
But I didn't care about the prank. You know what I cared about?
Hmm.
So the one scene that I did care about, or scene, the one storyline that actually kept me awake was actually Jack's with the soccer.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed that one. Now, previously, I did not like the soccer scenes
Mm-hmm.
because again, it was kind of like out of the blue that
Mm-hmm.
Jack and Andy would be coaching.
Yeah.
But this one actually made me interested
Mm-hmm.
because I thought Jack was really cool. The fact that he was standing his ground.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to put what's the little girl's name?
Molly
Yeah, Molly. I like her. He wanted to put Molly in as
as a goalie.
goalie,
Mm-hmm.
and the dads were all no.
Mm-hmm.
If you put her in, we're gonna lose,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna be fired.
Right.
And I was like, but he stood his ground. I like that.
Mm-hmm. And then even when they did win, they still fired him just
Mm-hmm.
because he kept her in.
Well, because they said that if you keep her in, they're gonna tally up all the
Like the ones that she
the
missed,
yeah, and I'm like,
he
what?
make them lose. Yeah.
Does that really happen?
I don't know.
Okay, but I can tell you, I played soccer when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
when I was like 7 and 8,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember this one game, this one team we were going against, where they were like scary, okay, and I'm like little and shy, and we went up against them, and we had our goalie, and then we had like other people that were in place in case anything happened, right? Well, let's just say a few people got injured from playing goalie, so we didn't have anyone for goalie. And the coach goes, Brittany, you're going to be goalie. And I went, huh? I'll be anything but goalie.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I just watched like 3 of my teammates get injured.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm good. I don't want to be injured. I was a goalie. I was like, and let's just say, I don't remember soccer after that. Like, I think I may have quit then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I finished the season,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't go back.
Yeah.
I hated goalie. So, anybody that is a goalie, I congratulate you because, I hated being goalie.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the ball whacked at you,
Yeah.
I'm good. And again, I saw physically my teammates getting injured and they were like really good. Here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing, I sucked at soccer. That was another reason why I quit. But I saw these players that were really good and they got injured.
Yeah.
And then I was scared. So yeah, I was like, Molly's, tough and she's a good soccer player. So, and plus she's playing with the boys.
Mm-hmm.
She's really good.
Yeah.
And I think I was playing with all girls.
Yeah, and then they only needed a goalie because the last one broke his
Yeah,
leg.
see, they get injured.
Yeah, well, he broke his leg from jumping off his house roof into the pool
Yeah,
at home, so it wasn't soccer related. But yeah,
off the roof.
yeah, he jumped off. It was a one-story house, but he jumped off the roof into a swimming pool.
What? Who's? Oh,
Yeah.
that's just dumb.
Mm-hmm. But it is a kid thing to do.
You would do that?
No, but one of my nephews would.
I would never do that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do anything crazy.
But I did think it was funny in that first scene of soccer practice when Jack was struggling to put that net back up on the goalie. So, but he needed to start practice, so Jen volunteered to help him with it, and she tripped over the netting that was hanging from the ground, low
Well,
to the ground.
I thought it was funny that right from the start,
Mm-hmm.
it was funny because Jack comes over with flowers.
Yeah,
Oh, these are for Grams.
yeah, I mentioned this too.
I wasn't here.
I know. Well, I wasn't sure if you just said to keep talking,
I
so
said keep talking, but I wasn't here for it.
okay, yeah. So
You were talking to yourself.
I just covered the first couple of scenes.
I meant to talk about one scene that missed the whole show.
Well, that's how much I was talking until you came back.
You went through all your paragraphs really fast.
Just two.
But it was funny because he was like, "Oh, I have something better for you."
Mm-hmm. But I want to know if that trip was intentional or it was in the script because
Because it was funny.
yeah, and it did seem like it was an accident. Like, what's her name, Michelle? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Michelle didn't mean to trip like that, but her ow did sound like it was done in ADR, so maybe it was scripted. I'm thinking, or maybe they just kept it in and then did the ADR. I don't know. I'm just wondering.
I don't know. I think you're looking too into it.
It's just funny when things turn up in shows like that.
um,
And Dawson's still at Mr. Brooks painting or doing anything now.
I hate Mr. Brooks.
Because now Dawson's wanting him to pay him because he definitely has worked enough to pay off the boat and everything. And the boat's even fixed now, so there's no reason why he should even still show up.
Well, and then when Gretchen comes to get him,
Yeah.
then Mr. Brooks is like, "Oh, you and your little girlfriend. What did he
Mm-hmm.
call her?" I was like, "Oh." And then Dawson's like, "She's not my girlfriend." I'm like, "Oh God."
Yeah, and then Jack and Drue picked up supplies at the hardware store, which was random. And
This
then,
whole thing is random.
yeah,
Okay, the 3 of them hate Drue.
yeah,
This is just all random.
yeah. So now all of a sudden they're being nice to him.
Because even at the end, when it's Pacey and Drue,
Yeah.
isn't it Doug that says
Mm-hmm.
you hate him? And he's like, yeah, I'm still gonna ride. It's like, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, Pacey's good at hitchhiking.
Yeah.
He would do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not without Joey, but yeah. So Jack has.
No, he hitchhiked. Remember when he was trying to hitchhike with Billy? When he first met him? When he first came to town?
Yeah, I don't remember that, but
Yeah, it was Billy's entrance.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, number.
And then I was like, why do Joey and Pacey keep getting?
Mm-hmm.
They keep hitchhiking?
Yeah. Yeah, so Jack purposely has Drue get the can of paint from the hardware store.
Yeah, they were definitely setting Drue up.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a scene with Pacey and Doug eating at the diner, waiting to catch something on the radio. And then Dawson is
Oh, and of course,
hmm,
Pacey and Doug. I don't know, because weren't they at, I don't know, it kind of looked like the donut shop, but I don't know.
I don't even know any.
I don't know, I kind of tuned out.
I only know the restaurants that we see with the main characters in their family business. But Dawson did find Mr. Brooks' old yearbook and sees that Mr. Brooke wanted to also be a filmmaker after high school.
Now, it was weird. In the yearbook,
Mm-hmm.
under his picture or something,
Yeah.
it was in quotes of the name Zach.
Um,
But then his middle name is Isaac. I thought, oh, the whole thing was throwing me off.
didn't Dawson like look up J.P. Brooks or something later on too as a nickname for a
No, he
filmmaking?
looked up the middle name because his middle name's Isaac.
I just thought that was the last search he looked up was J.P. Brooks, and that's when he
No, it
found.
was J.I.
Oh,
No, A.I.
I guess I must be more blind than I thought because I wasn't wearing my contacts yesterday. Or that wasn't. I didn't do this yesterday. It was some days ago when I did this, so I wasn't wearing them then. But where was I? Yeah, so he finds the yearbook, and now all of a sudden, Mr. Brooks is supposed to be like Dawson now, just like an older version of him. Do you think there's a reason why they did this? It just seemed kind of didn't make sense to drag this on with Mr. Brooks still. I mean,
There's
it
a
would give
reason.
Dawson his alibi, but still.
There's a reason.
Okay. And it's not in this episode?
No.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, so Molly doesn't want to be goalie at first. But then Jack convinces her that she's good enough and to prove to herself that she's good enough by being goalie and that maybe if she plays and the boys on the team will respect her. Isn't she like the only girl on the team? Is that why they're like teasing her so much?
That's what it sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like she's the only girl.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the principal suspects that Pacey had access to the warehouse where his boat was kept. And that's when Pacey tells his story of the ride along with Doug.
Oh, right
And
here.
yeah,
Look at the yearbook.
okay.
It says Zach.
Hold on. Right. Um, Zach's ambition is what?
And his name is Arthur Isaac Brooks. But it says Zach underneath his name. Do you see it?
Yeah. Was it Zach's ambition is to do film? It's already over now.
But it's weird. Why does it say Zach?
The first thing I thought of maybe he was in a play and the character's name was Zach. And like that was his
No, and then it
page.
says something about filmmaker.
I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Because like they can't even say like that was the name before they changed it. Because why did they keep the name in there? I don't know. Because that couldn't even be a nickname for any of the
Yeah, it says
names.
Arthur Isaac Brooks, and then in quotes underneath his name it says Zach. And then it says Zach's ambition, something is to be like a filmmaker. And I'm like, huh?
Hmm.
Because I'm literally watching it right now.
Yeah.
It does not make any sense to me.
Didn't you see a little snippet of the person next to him? Isn't it the same thing probably with another name under their full name?
Oh, in the yearbook.
Yeah. I don't know.
Um,
I mean, it had to be something character wise. I don't know.
yeah, the other one is Brown.
Hmm. Yeah, this would be good questions to ask the writers, or I don't know, maybe someone who made the yearbook. Even I don't know who would that person be.
It's just
Set.
weird. Zach's ambition is to become a great filmmaker. I was trying to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Let me see.
I don't know why his name's Zach.
Um.
Yeah, and then the last one he types in A.I. Brooks because his
Hmm.
name is Arthur Isaac Brooks.
Okay. Yeah. Production design, art direction, set direction. It could be maybe any of those people that made the yearbook. Somebody had to have made the yearbook, so they would only know why that was like that.
I just thought it was weird. I was like, why would you call him Zach?
Yeah, or what's his name himself, Dawson. Um, what's his name? Dawson actor.
James?
Yeah, he might know what that meant. If we asked him. But besides that, it's just really weird. Yeah, serious set decoration maybe.
I don't know, it threw
They
me
would
off.
know. Maybe not. There's a lot of different people when it comes to the set and everything. Like, there's a lot of people for art department. I don't know if that would count. But yeah. And then there was a scene where Pacey like kind of like made Doug's job like not be important. Like he's like really nothing. He doesn't do anything to help the town. And then you could
Well,
see,
he usually doesn't.
I know, I'm just saying that you could tell that Pacey realized that he hurt Doug's feelings when he said that.
Well, I think Pacey realized it
Mm-hmm.
when he saw what happened. That
Yeah.
his brother was getting groceries
Mm-hmm.
for that blind guy.
Right.
That's when Pacey was like, whoa, like you are important
Mm-hmm.
and you do matter.
Yeah.
Because I think Pacey just thinks, oh, he just rides in the car all day
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But really, he does.
Yeah. And I thought it was funny when Gretchen dropped Dawson back off at I think it was Mr. Brooks' house, and they see
Mm-hmm.
Drue sitting there, and Gretchen said that when she sees Drue, she hears the Darth Vader theme from not space, Star Wars. That was funny.
I didn't hear her say that.
Yeah,
Again,
because he's like
I
the
was probably
villain.
asleep at this point.
He's like the villain of the movie. So
I don't know. I didn't like the back and forth.
yeah,
It was just too much for me.
yeah, a little too much. Yeah, they could have like stuck with the one guy and had them explain their whole, alibi, and then like a second time come back and like kind of piece together when they were with Drue or something. I don't know, but because I knew something was up when Drew thanked Dawson for lending him money to get popcorn at the movie theaters, and then letting him sit next to Dawson at the movie, and then how they got burgers after the movie too.
Like they're all
Like,
besties
yeah, I'm
now.
like, what the heck? I mean, the money maybe, but sit next to him, and then yeah, it's just way too much. So I was like, something's going on here. That's when I started suspecting something. And then Drew found Mitch's keys in his car because Dawson left them there, by accident.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I
Set
knew
up.
that something was starting to, come together. Like I knew Dawson was involved, but I wasn't thinking everybody else was involved yet. So
Well, especially because Dawson and Pacey are not getting along.
yeah,
That
so
you wouldn't think that they'd be working together.
yeah, exactly. And even if they were, I never would thought Jack would be part of it too. So
Okay, but then okay, my thing is Mitch. I don't understand him at all.
but
Why is he interrogating his own son? Like, here is the thing is Mitch is like the person that would bail Dawson out,
yeah,
okay?
mhm,
Would cover it up for
mhm,
him.
yeah.
Why is he's sitting there and he tells Dawson, remember the pack you and Pacey made?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was surprised you brought that up.
Why are you okay? It's one thing to say that at home. Now
Yeah.
listen. Now that we're
Mhm.
out of the principal's office,
Mhm.
you and your friend made a pack.
Yeah.
Why would you say it right then and there?
I know.
Like, well, you're supposed to be the good parent,
Yeah. Then
the
then.
protective one who wouldn't let anything
Mhm.
happen to Dawson.
Yeah. See, that made less sense than Graham with Jen in the office to me. That made
None
less
of it made
sense.
any sense. I'm like, no one all of a sudden is protecting their loved
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
You're just gonna throw your son under the bus.
Mhm.
Okay. Again, it's not in Mitch's character to throw Dawson under the bus.
Yeah.
He should be like, no, Dawson would never do that.
Mhm.
It was just weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. And do you think, like, because we've never been in the principal's office, do you feel like that would even happen? Like the interrogation?
Oh, like with the counselor or
No, with the principal. Like,
um
oh, having that little light and being like,
no,
now,
not that
this is
dramatic.
what you.
No.
And how long? I feel like you can only have them for a certain amount of time. Eventually, they have to
Mhm.
go home, right?
Yeah.
Legally.
Mhm.
Well, okay, the thing is, too, I feel like if it comes to theft, police would be involved.
Right.
The principal would not be on his own questioning
Mhm.
it would be higher up getting involved, which would be the police. The same thing with Jen.
Mhm.
It involved somebody going to the hospital for
Yeah.
drugs. It would be the police investigating Jen.
Mhm.
It would not be Mitch or the principal. Same thing with the boys.
Mhm.
Theft was involved. Break-in was involved. It would involve the
twice.
police. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't get why the police weren't interrogating them. I
Right.
think it would have been better.
Right.
But I feel like for these episodes,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't know what to do for Mitch. So they were like, let's just have him interrogate everybody.
Yeah.
Last episode, Jen. This episode, the boys.
Yeah, and I just feel like the kids would have been able to talk to Mister, would have been able to talk to Mitch more easily than the principal, because like I said, they don't really know
Well,
the
I don't
principal.
know. Once Mitch threw Dawson under the bus, I really didn't think he would.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so Dawson tells his whereabouts 5 hours before.
Though I did like when Dawson said,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Pacey would do this.
Right.
I was like, ooh, we got something good about this.
Yeah. And so he was just saying how he was with Mr. Brooks, and Mr. Brooks was on him about being late, because he told him to come back in a few hours or else he wasn't going to get paid. And then that's when he's like, my generosity is being taken advantage of, and that's when Dawson said that just because you're alone and your life is full of abandoned dreams does not give you the license to inflict your pain on me. And then Mr. Brooks tells him to leave. But I was glad Dawson did that, because Mr. Brooks was just being a pain.
He's been a pain since we met him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just this old cranky guy who's gonna die alone, apparently.
Yeah. And then with the dads too on the soccer team, at first, one of them that's speaking up for everybody says that, he's one of the parents that didn't say anything after word got around about Jack being gay. I'm like, that doesn't make the situation any better. Like as if that was leverage that Jack would listen to him and not have
Mm-hmm.
Molly be the goalie.
Yeah, and what's Molly's sister's name?
Caroline.
She actually was starting to feel bad.
Yeah.
Did you see that? She started this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then did you see her face?
Yeah.
And them getting Jack fired is because he's gay.
Yeah.
It's not because he's a bad coach.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously they're winning.
Yeah.
So, and they're going to the playoffs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's obviously a good coach. And the kids trust him. So the fact that it's just because he's gay.
Yeah.
And all this wouldn't have happened if Caroline, whatever, wouldn't have opened her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But then now she's feeling guilty. She started this.
Yeah, I think she was embarrassed that she was hitting on Jack, and
Okay,
to
but
get
then
back
you
at
don't
him.
have to go and take it into your own hands and go get him fired.
I know. I'm just saying that's probably why she did what she did.
Yeah, she was embarrassed,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have to go and get him fired.
Yeah.
That was over the line.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, your little sister just loves him.
Yeah.
She's so annoying.
And then Dawson's at Mr. Brooks and says that he found his yearbook and it scared him because he doesn't want to end up like Mr. Brooks alone because he pushed everyone else away. And Mr. Brooks can't push him away, so he's going to stay and finish the work. So I was actually surprised about that. I thought Dawson would just give up and go home after that and not come back.
Yeah, but he knows that Mr. Brooks is all alone, and I don't know. Dawson's just nosy being nosy now into Mr. Brooks' life.
I thought he just wouldn't care after that and leave him alone.
Well, I feel like Dawson is like, if I leave him alone, then, I'll turn out like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to be better than him.
Yeah.
And do something he'll never do.
Yeah.
Which is care about others.
Mm-hmm. And then Pacey and Doug get to the warehouse because they got a call about missing boats, aka the principal's boat, and Drue was there. And Pacey, I was surprised Pacey had the code because, you'd think that they would change the code every so often over there, for security reasons. But yeah, it's still the same code that Pacey used, a lot of months ago already now, since True Love went down.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they should have changed the code by then. But yeah, so.
Well, also too, where wasn't Doug and Pacey looking for the dog earlier?
Yeah, and I guess now they're looking for a boat. So I don't know what happened to the dog, but.
All of a sudden, they stopped looking for the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're with the boat.
Yep. Yeah, so Drew said that he's there because someone called his mom and she told him to come look at it. But then, Doug points out that they got their call before he got his call, and they got an anonymous call.
And yet Doug did nothing. If you're such a good cop,
mm-hmm.
why didn't you take Drue in or something? I don't know. It's just that if you're such a good cop, why is Drue being let off the hook?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was suspicious that he was
But
there.
remember, this episode, he says he's a really good cop.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Yep, so Pacey gets to ride with Drue, and, like you said before, Doug points out he doesn't like him. But then, at this point, Pacey and I think Jack both use about how it has to do with karma. That started sounding like it was tying something together too. And yeah, so Dawson said that Pacey is cocky but not an idiot, that he would jeopardize his shaky academic career already by doing a prank like this. So I liked how Dawson was standing up to the principal and saying how Pacey couldn't have done this. And then after Dawson leaves, the principal says to Mitch that he figured out who did it. So of course everything was blamed on Drue because Drue was there for every single scenario, for every single alibi that was told with the guys. So his mom's brought in the next day, and the principal describes how he figured out that it was Drue's fault and how he pulled it off with the prank, except for how he got the boat in the school.
Wasn't when Drue was getting in trouble?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't his mom, Mrs. Valentine, there?
Yeah, she was. Yeah, like I said, his mom was brought there on the next day. And after the principal tells the story, Drue's mom believes that Drue did it now too. So the principal gives him 2 weeks suspension and the rest of the year on probation. And he said that he decides this because of Drue's past. And Drue was just laughing, and I can't believe they blamed this on me. Kind of laugh. And then while packing up his things,
Well, yeah, then he tells Joey,
yeah,
thank the boys for me. And she was like, what boys? Oh, come on, Joey. Your
yeah,
boys. All three of them.
yeah. And he says that to tell them that he admires their brilliant design. Because besides for the boat and how they got it in there, everything else is pretty planned well. And then, after a while, Pacey thanks Doug for letting him tag along for the ride along, and tells him what he does for his job matters. And Pacey says he would be lucky to work with him someday, but Doug tells Pacey that he's original and born to break the rules, not enforce them, and he admires him in that. And like Pacey can't believe it, like you're actually you admire me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when Dawson was looking up on the computer, was that at his house or Gretchen's house? I couldn't tell. It looked like Gretchen, I'm thinking, because she was there, like she was walking around.
No, because she just walked in
Yeah,
the room.
I don't know. It was hard to tell.
Oh, but it could have
Cause
been maybe a back room of the fish place. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. And like I think Dawson's computer was in his room last time, like way in season 1 when he was writing his script, and I think it was a laptop too, not a PC. I don't know. Either way, Dawson was looking.
I don't know. This episode don't make sense, though.
Yeah, Dawson was looking up Mr. Brooks online and finally finds out under the AI Brooks name, he finds out that he actually directed many films in the 50s. So he did become a film director, but then something happened after the 50s that we don't know yet. And I'm guessing we find out later, Brittany?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, no, I felt bad for this scene because Molly showed up with her sister at Jack's, and Molly just wanted to see Jack and tell him that she's sorry for getting him fired. So Jack sits her down and says that's not her fault for not stopping more goals, and that the dad's fired him for who he is as a coach and not her as a player. And he,
Well, then he says of who he is as a person. That's what
yeah,
he says.
yeah.
Not as a coach, but as a person. They
Okay,
didn't like who I was as a person.
okay, because I just thought too, like he said that to Molly, that you can't hate someone for being different. We can forget about them and be the best person we can be. So yeah, and then Joey ends up at Dawson's. Mitch answers the door. Joey goes up to the room, but before she does, Mitch says to tell Dawson that he
Nice work or
knows.
something.
Yeah, yeah, that he knows. And
Okay, I thought it was funny that Jack
yeah,
goes through the window.
yeah, that was
Why
funny.
couldn't he go through the door?
Hmm. Yeah, and then he looks up
Oh,
and he's
and
like,
also Joey is no longer climbing through the window.
yeah, I guess that shows that they're not close
She's
anymore.
going through the door, and Jack is going through the window.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, so just as Joey walks in, Pacey and Dawson are throwing evidence away in a trash bag when Jack climbs in through the window, and Joey knows they did it and framed Drue. They say Drue did it, they're innocent.
And then she smiles at him.
Yeah, Dawson explains how they each had their own part on pulling off the prank, while someone else would do something to frame Drue. And Dawson says it was all hypothetical, of course, and that Drue just finally got his karma. And then
I don't know. I didn't care for the episode.
well, the very last scene, Dawson and Pacey are now burying the evidence.
Yeah.
They would just throw everything away, but they're going to bury it. I feel like someone can easily find that later on.
Um, well, isn't it after so many years you can't get charged
I don't know.
for a crime? But I thought, okay, so
Well,
then,
maybe if it wasn't a murder, maybe I think, yeah.
well, I thought it was funny though, like, or I don't know, I felt really funny, but when Pace is like, I don't know why we're not friends, and then Dawson's like,
It's not that
yeah,
simple.
it's not that simple. It's like, oh
Hmm.
my god. Again, Dawson just can't let it go.
Hmm.
No matter how much Pacey tries, he can't let it go. Like, Pacey can show him all the fun times,
Hmm.
and Dawson will just never see it.
Yeah, because Pacey even says that one of the worst top 5 moments in his life was when Dawson told Pacey he could never trust him again. While Dawson says that seeing Pacey with Joey on the horse that night was his worst, with a bullet. And Pacey asks if there's a possibility that Dawson could trust him again, and Dawson says that he would like to believe so. And Pacey says that he has to try because he's not ready to give up on Dawson. And Dawson jokes that if it doesn't work out, they can just kill each other. Yeah, but that was nice. The whole episode, I felt like really was just for Dawson and Pacey to work together as, friends or just people in general to, have Drue finally get what he deserves. And it did, like, I think it really did help Dawson at least a little bit to see that he can trust Pacey again.
But what's the point of this episode?
Like what I just said.
No, is in moving forward.
Um,
Nothing changes between them.
oh, well,
So
they
this
make it
is
look like it
so
would.
this is pointless.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pointless episode if you're not actually gonna have them resolve their issues. You know?
So they don't even later in the season.
No. This whole divide
Mm-hmm.
stays.
Oh, yeah, then it
This
doesn't
is
make
why I
sense.
can't stand the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's other shows can get through it.
Yeah.
This show seems to be the only show that does not get through it.
Hmm. That's
And it
interesting.
drives me nuts
Yeah.
because just move on. Like
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to see them hate each other forever.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. So your highs and lows.
My my high was Jack standing up to the bully dads
Mm-hmm.
by putting her in.
Yeah.
And then the low for me was the rest of it.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Yeah. Jack too. But if I had to choose a second, it would be just the moment between Pacey and Doug at the end when they see each other. Pacey sees Doug for his job, and Doug sees Pacey as a person, how he can do more than just be a cop in Cape Side like him. And then the low was just um, Jack getting fired and then having to comfort Molly when she's upset about getting fired. So,
What would you rate it?
like a 7-ish. Yeah. Because it, it did make sense, kind of, but just the boat is the most thing I'm wondering about. How they got it in there. Because it's not like they could have put, like, how they put ships in a bottle, how they folded in there. They couldn't do that with a doorway, the railboat. So, how did they get it in there, I wonder? What would you rate it? A 6? A
you
5?
you really want to know? Keep going.
4?
Keep going.
3?
Sure.
Okay.
I hated this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I kept looking at my phone. It was so boring.
More than the witch one?
I don't know. Didn't I rate that one a 2?
I don't know. It was
It
low.
was, it was low.
Mm-hmm.
This one's just as bad.
Yeah. And best and worst?
So for me, I put the best was Jack because I really could care less about the other storyline. So for me, I put the best was Jack because he stood up for himself. And then I picked the worst was those soccer dads because that was the only storyline I was into. What about you?
Yeah, my best is Jack, too. And then the worst was just Mr. Brooks for giving Dawson a hard time, too.
Wait, over the soccer dads?
Yeah, they were bad, too. I just think of
They,
more...
but they got him fired.
I know, it just Mr. Brooks is like...
But Mr. Brooks is just a lonely old grumpy man.
I know.
Like, he hasn't really done any harm to Dawson yet. I mean, where the soccer dads.
Yeah. It's not like he will later.
But like, I don't know what happens with Mr. Brooks, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like the soccer dads actually got him fired.
Yeah, I know. I feel like they won't even have the power to do that anyhow. Like,
I don't know. It was
we don't
2000.
we don't even know if the soccer teams with the school, like elementary Cape Side. Or I feel like somebody else, not the dads, would have that power to fire him.
Yeah, but I don't know. They just people on this show have too much power.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then what's the next episode?
Sounds like something from a Western movie. Episode 9, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Kiss, kiss, bang, bang.
Is that a movie reference? Is that a song reference? I don't know.
Who knows? I told you these titles, they don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks for listening.
Yep, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us at Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would really appreciate it.